AI-based personas can become authentic destination ambassadors. I am confident you heard about Emma. Who has heard about Emma? It was in the media, so positive and negative things, I have to say, but we work that out. But I think the story behind is a pretty positive thing, just because Emma indeed is the real first AI-based influencer. And here comes one of the mothers or parents of Emma. It's Ann-Kathrin Harms, the head of CEO's division at the German National Tourism Board. And you will introduce Emma and tell us her childhood and what's coming next, and how Emma can become a real destination ambassador. Thanks for being here, Ann-Kathrin.
Let's do that. Thank you very much, Dirk. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here today and having me. I would like to introduce Emma to you and more or less the story behind Emma and how we came up with Emma and why we came up with Emma. So Emma, let's just put it in the context. For you, we at the German National Tourist Board promote Destination Germany around the world in more than 30 markets, and we have 19 offices around the world. So when we talk about trends with our colleagues, we came up with generative AI and said, okay, of course, I think we can all agree of that. Generative AI is a key technology, and it will transform our tourism marketing and our work as an NTO as well. So we discussed this with the colleagues around the world. We said, okay, what does this mean for us as an NTO and our work and our tourism marketing? So what we said is that at the end of 2023, we saw in different markets, especially overseas in the US and in Asia, that the trend for AI influencers was becoming more and more focused and more into the media, in Instagram and everything. So I don't know how many of you are following an AI influencer. Maybe hands up, how many of you are following an AI influencer? 1, 2, okay, it's not that many. We have to catch up on this. It's going to work out. So what we said is that we have to get into this trend, because for us it's not important to market Destination Germany in Germany, but it's important to market it in Asia, abroad, in the US. And we're really big about data at the GNTB. So we said, okay, let's analyze this trend. And we have to ensure the international competitiveness compared to our other destinations abroad. And we said that when we look at the statistics, we can see that 53% of US consumers are already following virtual influencers, which is huge. It's big. That was last year already. So we saw US first, then Japan, then UK when it comes to virtual influencers. And what's the most amazing figure, I would say, is that virtual influencers are set to reach a revenue of $46 billion by 2030. So that was like the last thing which convinced us that we had to dig into this and follow up with an own influencer for Destination Germany and develop Emma. So after a lot of discussions and talking to all the colleagues abroad and seeing how Emma would come up, we decided that, of course, we're not BMW, we are not Apple, we don't have a huge budget. It would be a pioneer project for us as an NTO. So we said, okay, we would build up Emma with 2 building blocks. She would become an inspiration source and an information source. She would become her own Instagram channel, where she would go into content and inspire people like an influencer. And she would go into an information source with being a chatbot on our website. And we talked about how reliable the sources have to be. So we decided that for the data and the sources she would assist, that would be the Germany Travel website and the knowledge graph, of course. We talked about knowledge graph earlier. So we have our open data knowledge graph project. And we would feed Emma with the content from our knowledge graph and from our content hub. Because as an NTO, it has to be reliable content. We didn't want her to get the access to the whole World Wide Web. So we said, okay, we limit this, and this is going to be the information she's going to work on. And for this, with the building blocks of Emma, of course, it took us a few months, like 4 months in the building up process. And then we decided that we would launch her in October last year. We were the first mover with this. We still are, as I know of. I don't think there's another NTO who has a digital influencer. And it sparked a debate. We will discuss this later on with Dirk. It definitely sparked a debate. We had a video which went viral, and we had 650,000 video views within 3 days, which is, for us as an NTO, quite big. Of course, certainly not for Apple or BMW, but for us, that's big. We had 6,000 interactions and comments. And after that, within a few weeks, we had 117 articles worldwide in media. We had Forbes, we had Washington Post, we had really big media in China, in Japan, and everybody was talking about Emma and about the German National Tourist Board as well. So I think at least a lot of people know now that there's a German National Tourist Board in Germany. So that's a plus. And everybody knows Emma. We're really happy about this. We still think that there's a few things we can adjust. We will discuss this later on. But still, we think it was the right step to do. And why do I think so? I think so because what's next? We can see that there has been an increase of AI influencers. TUI came up with Lena a few weeks before. Zana was launched from Qatar. So we really see that the business is picking up and everybody is coming up with this AI influencers, and it's a big thing to talk about. We still think it's a customer experience. So it's 24/7, it's a very different languages, it's easy to access, and it's going to get better and better, and it's going to be the new normal. It's going to be really, really normal that there will be AI influencers for all different kind of brands. And that's why we still improve Emma. That's why we keep on working with Emma in our markets abroad, especially Asia and US. And if you like Emma and would like to get a little bit more of her, just follow her on Instagram, but be really kind to her because she's still learning, we are still learning. It's a pioneer project. It's not something big, it's something we came up with because we think it's really, really important for us abroad to market destination Germany with an AI influencer. So far.
Yeah, thank you, Ann-Kathrin. I'm happy to learn more about Emma a bit with you, so we have time for a wrap-up discussion, and we are not alone. We don't have Emma here in person, but we have Joachim Unterberger. Dear Joachim, please join us. And I have to introduce you. I would like to introduce you. You're the CIO of, just have a seat if you like. I think it's the best place to have. You are the CIO of St. Elmo's Tourism, which is one of the leading consulting companies in travel technology as well. You have not established an Emma, so still Emma is the first and only AI-based influencer, but you have the Schwarzwald-Marie from the Black Forest, who is but you can say it for your own, she's a personalized source of information, but she's also a kind of person as well. So maybe you can talk about a bit about Schwarzwald-Marie from the Black Forest.
So I hope you can see the presentation. Or do we get the presentation on the screen? Yeah. Just that we know what we are talking about. We get nearly the same things to do, and we also started to build a character, not especially influencer, for the Black Forest tourist destination. And here, just to give you an idea what we've done. So we designed a couple of characters, a couple of faces, then we said, okay, which we are going to use, try to build it consistently. And then we ended up at a couple of challenges, because the Black Forest has some specialities, like the Black Forest attire with the typical Boldenhut. And there was no base model yet which has this kind of information just to rebuild a Black Forest attire or a Boldenhut or the Puma sneakers. We got a couple of Puma sneakers designed by Puma, especially for the Black Forest. But finally, we managed to get some consistency in it and also to rebuild the attire and dress up Black Forest Mary.
Okay, looks impressive. Joachim, what's the difference between your Schwarzwald-Marie and an Emma? They look both pretty human. What's your point of view? What's impressing you most about Emma? What's missing on Schwarzwald-Marie? Let's make it a little bit more pushy.
What's impressing me most, it's just that the biggest thing was that somebody is going to start it. Mm-hmm. So, therefore, how should I say? we've been second one or third one, I don't know, but we had different aim and idea. So it was not to build up an influencer, it was just to build up or rebuild a character we've already had before in person. And within the building, we found out some new ideas, and so what we're going to do with this whole character. So we're going to use the character in some campaigns and so on, but before we had lots of data. And the bigger aim is to build a new kind of front end for the user and for the guest to change information and lead a dialogue with. So that might be the biggest difference, because another difference is we're not an NTO. We are an agency working for a regional brand, and therefore they're completely different things of information we need to provide or not.
But at Schwarzwald, Marie, the focus is on information, isn't it? So it's about data sources, and the Marie herself as a virtual person is an add-on, or how would you say?
We're going to start with inspiration, so we're going to start to use Marie in campaigns, and sooner this year we're going to run out a chatbot with more information within it. And as I said before, the bigger aim is to build a new kind of front end and also a brand ambassador, which is going to influence and inspire people to come to the Black Forest.
Ann-Kathrin, let's do it oppositely. What's impressing you most on Schwarzwald, Marie, or on the other side? Would this have been not have been more than enough for 2025 or 2024?
I think I've talked to Eoghan about it, because it's hard to say, because it's not really launched now. There's a press release and we saw a few photos. So I think it's really nice to have Schwarzwald Marie set up as they did it. But for the difference I see is more that we see Emma more as being influential and really promoting the destination. And for you guys, I think Schwarzwald Marie is like, she's integrated in the campaigns and she's there as the face.
Yes.
But for us, Emma is really more the ambassador, I would say. So that's the biggest difference, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you also already talked about the press reception. For those who didn't read it about Emma, it was a little bit controversial. Not a little bit, it was highly controversial. I think you figured out the 170 clippings. I think the national clippings was pretty negative as well. As I heard, the international clipping was not that negative. It was a lot of applause as well. So maybe you can figure out the result a bit.
It's actually what I said before, that we promote Destination Germany abroad. We don't promote Destination Germany in Germany. And Emma was never supposed to be used as marketing Destination Germany in Germany for Germans.
That's your role as a national tourist spot.
Exactly. It was especially promoted to use Emma overseas in the US, in Asia, where we have seen that AI services are accepted a lot more than here. So we've been to China last year, and it's incredible how many AI assistants they use there. Even their AI influencers are integrated in the TV shows. We talked to Alibaba, to Huawei, and they said, hey, we could even integrate Emma. And we're like, yeah, let's do that. Maybe let's get a corporation. That's pretty cool. So Emma was really aimed to market Germany abroad and not in Germany. So the whole discussion here was a bit difficult, and I think it's all about the whole the discourse about AI in Germany as well. And Emma was just a vehicle that everybody talked about it.
Was it an unfair discussion in your point of view? I mean, it was really hard, tough criticism. They said Anna is too stupid to get launched, to make it short. So
nah, I wouldn't call it unfair. Yeah. I would say it's okay. It's always okay to discuss things. And there were like 3 main points they were discussing. They were discussing, are you replacing influencers? No, that's not what we aimed for. Emma is an add-on for our marketing. She's not replacing influencers. We're still working with normal influencers, and we have really good reputation, really good experience with our influencer network. So we still work with them. And then it was about the technical aspect. Yeah, okay, maybe the technique wasn't perfect, but when is the right time to launch something? It was like a pioneer project for us, and I think Sascha Lobo said that in Hamburg on the Tourism Day.
Yes.
He called it Voranschreitern, which means something like going forward, but maybe not in the best way, but still moving forward. And he was positive about it, and he said, yeah, let's do that. let's go forward. And so that's our attitude about it, because we don't have that much budget. Of course not, we are state funded. So we said, let's just try something and be brave and go out there and just try it. And we are still learning about it. I mean, who is perfect about it and who has an own AI influencer? So yeah.
Joachim, how did you follow up the discussion about the launch or the birth of Emma? I think it was not only 117 articles, I think it was maybe thousands of social media posts, fancy ones, long ones, really harsh ones. Did you write an own one? I didn't follow everything about Emma.
No, I didn't write my own one, but I do think the discussion was kind of unfair, at least unbalanced.
Unbalanced, maybe, yeah.
Unbalanced. But the thing is, when you start something new, people are arguing about it, and people are not happy about it, because, as you said, the most people which were complaining about were influencers by themselves. So, okay, they might be kind of afraid if they're going to be replaced or not. But the discussion in the end was really unbalanced and, as I said, unfair, in my opinion.
You have to say you have no shares in the development of Emma, so you're a neutral person.
No, but it's no. We all together try to start something new. So, and sooner or later, also these influencers or AI characters may be talk to each another or work together. So therefore, there's no use to have any angry opinion about it or not.
Yeah, but either it's unfair or not, it's maybe not that important. Did you made any learnings on this criticism and on this?
Yeah, I would say so. Yes, we did. I would say we were maybe a little bit secretive about the whole thing, because we were like, okay, we want to be the first mover, we want to be the first NTO who launch an AI influencer. Yeah. So we were quite secretive about it. And I guess it would have been a little bit smarter maybe to contact some of the influencers before and take them in and talk to them, at least out of our network, just to get this discussion started a little bit earlier and just, taking it up. And maybe also with some of the technical newspapers whom we talked after it later on, but we didn't talk to them beforehand, before the launch. I would have done that a little bit differently now, I think. And also for our chatbot, we knew it wasn't perfect, but we said, okay, we launch it now, but we have improved a lot because we connected it to our open data knowledge graph now. So that was our learning, that the sources hadn't been that good when we launched, but it's a lot improved now.
Okay, so let's come to the core question of this session. How can Emmas and other AI-based personas can become authentic and accepted ambassadors of a destination? Maybe you want to start.
The AI technology is evolving and developing so fast. I just got hands on Google Veo a couple of days ago, and sooner or later you won't see any difference. So it's about the corporations and the organizations to mark it as an AI character or AI content, but for the interaction with human beings, especially in a digital way, you won't feel any difference in about a couple of weeks, months, or years, I don't know, but it's going to be this way, in my opinion.
Yeah, what do you think, Ankarina? I mean, you're on a good way. You show the results and the figures. Yeah. So Emma has his fan club already in this community.
It's increasing, yeah.
But how will she grow up even better now?
So I agree with you. I think we talked about that earlier. But also I think for Emma, first of all, it has to be reliable information. So that's why we were so careful with choosing the sources for Emma as well, what she's talking about and which sources she's accessing. And then I think it's just about being there all the time and having the best content. I mean, you have to have really good content about it. And Emma's going to grow up. We are increasing her vita. She's getting friends from abroad, meeting friends from her studies, and we want to connect her with real influencers as well. We are talking about that with some of our influencers from the network. So I think she really is becoming an authentic ambassador for Destination Germany.
Andreas Huber just named it, shit in, shit out. Data is essential. We all know this. So is there any kind of data you would like to have you're still missing for Emma?
I think we are still improving with the knowledge graph. It would be great if everybody is just feeding the knowledge graph even better than it is right now, because there's sometimes problems with the data which is fed in and then getting it out again. That's not so easy. We are still improving on that side, but I think that's the most important part that the Open Data Knowledge Graph project is working on and continued, and has better data quality, especially for Emma and her content.
Joachim, what do you see as a probably missing data point? Is there anything you would like to grab you for Schwarzwald, Marie, or even for Emma?
When then for both. I share the opinion from Reini before. They said, okay, we got enough data, but we need some new kind of data. We need some more information about emotional data, but at the moment there are no measurements for emotional data. That would be one thing I would say that in the near future would be one really big improvement, or part of a bigger improvement, when we can collect emotional data and forward this data and this information to virtual influencers or characters. Then we are going to have a completely new setup.
Okay. Let's look a bit into the future. So far, these AI-based ambassadors are very good for inspiration. We learn for information. There's so much more in travel. It's visitor guidance. It's maybe booking. You're an NTO. You're not a booking system. But anyhow, is there more coming? Are there more tasks coming for the Emmas of these worlds?
For sure, for sure. As I said before, in my opinion, it's going to be a new interface that you can really talk to these kind of influencers or avatars, and not only as a part of a chat or so, that they're really your direct connection, your direct line. Also, before it was mentioned, sooner or later you're going to talk with a chatbot when you could contact a hotel or so. And if it's a chatbot or not, or if it's a digital avatar, that's going to be one part of the future at least. Okay. And then, therefore, this avatar will fulfill any task. We talked about agents before and so on. You can combine those avatars with agents, and therefore you won't have any difference, or can't see any difference if you're talking to a real person or not, and the real person is fulfilling those tasks for you, or a digital person.
Ann-Kathrin, is there any new job for Emma in place already?
We're talking about Expo at the moment in Osaka in Japan. They really want Emma there, so we'll see what we do about that. And I totally agree with Joachim, because especially in Japan, in China, when we went there, we have so many AI assistants and surfaces, and there's robots in every hotel cleaning, asking your questions or answering your questions. So there's so many tasks which we could do with AI. So. Maybe we can have her as an interview guest, as a hologram at ITB Destination Tech Track 2026. We can work on this, but it's just a dream, of course. So I think that's a good vision for the end. Thank you so much, Ann-Kathrin. Thank you, Joachim. It was a pleasure to have you here. Thanks.
It's also, you can have an applause, to our guest.